Hello, everyone, and thank you for tagging along and staying with us as we do our multiple series of videos pertaining to the Lockbox video. Not only making the IPT files, but assembling them. Now we're going to be turning them into drawings. After that, the next video will be how to print this. So, this is where we left off. We have our combination of all sevens, and you guys will eventually have all your other combinations in there after this video in order to get points for this week's worth of work. But keep in mind, I'm done. And I got my exploded view, my presentation mode. What I need to do now is I need to go back to our OneNote. And inside OneNote, we have another set of blueprints, both A and B. Now, these are my templates that I've already given you. So what I'm going to look for you to do is just do a file, save as, and where you're going to put these at is back into your OneDrive underneath your drafting, 3D printing, weekly projects. This is the lockbox. Now we're in drawings. Now remember, this is just our A series. So I'm going to save it there. And now I'm going to save my B series template. So I right click it, file save as, do it all over again. And of course, we already know where it's at. As you can tell, it's in my OneDrive, and I've made my way all the way back down from not in teaching. Remember, I want to be in where? I want to be just back into OneDrive, and your guys' would say drafting, 3D printing, so on and so on. And this one's going to be called B series. The last one I want to save is this one. This is our BOM. So this is going to be A3, which we'll get into later in the video, but I want to save it. And I want to put it back in its OneDrive in drafting, 3D printing, and here. So now that I've gotten these all saved, I want to go back to Inventor and I want to open up that drawing of A and B series. So OneNote, drafting all the way down. I want to be here. I'm going to go into drawings. This is my A series. Now, it's going to ask me to look for the A series logo. Now, your guys' stuff, again, is in drafting. Now, you have to manually do this because I'm giving you a template. And what I need from you guys is to go back to your introduction into your templates and find the Helen High logo that you've already saved in there. And so here it is. I'm going to hit save. Now it's done. So every time, like let's just hit save, okay? I'm going to close out of this. And now I'm going to open that exact A series back up. Make sure we're in the right folder. Yes, we are. Here's my A series. Open it up. Now, notice it did not ask it for me because Inventor's intuitive enough is once you tell it where that file's at, every time it opens up this IDW, it will go then look for that part in that file that you originally set it up for. And if you move a part, you're going to have to manually tell it where it's at. So let's go ahead and open up our B series, and we're going to have to do the exact same thing, but this time with the logo for Helena High in the B series. So yes, we're okay with that. And I'm just going to quickly go through this. Okay. All right. Now, as you guys can tell, I'm going to hit save again just so I don't have to do that again. But I have my A series and I have my B series. The only real big difference between this is this section right here. If I zoom in here, this is my material cost. So when you guys do independent projects or you do group projects or weekly projects, you're going to find out that I always like to keep a total of my parts. So that way, when a person looks at a blueprints, they know how much this part's going to cost them. So what ends up happening and coming in here is going to be not only the grams, but also the dollar amount, which we'll get into later with the bill of materials. So if I look at my A series, you will see that I don't have that box there because my A series is strictly the overview of like this assembled component and what it looks like. All right. So with that being said, let's get after it. So I'm in here. I'm ready to now put in my model of my introduction or not my introduction, I'm sorry, the assembled view. So as reference, if I go back to OneNote, I'm going to go ahead and open this up, which I already did, and I'm just going to put it in front of us. This is what it's going to look like. So today you're going to get a video on not only the A series, A0, A1, A2, A3, and how to complete them, but also just like what exactly extensive detail I'm looking for. So as you cycle through this, we will do all of this with you. And this will be this week's points, not only doing this, but then printing them too. So pretty fun, pretty simple. So I'm going to go ahead and type this stuff in. I'm going to pause the video so you guys don't see me type it all in. And then I'll fix all of my iProperties here. But I'll show you how I enter into that before I pause the video so I don't waste your time. All right, back to Inventor. If I want to fix my iProperties, remember I just right-click either the icon up here under the model, project browser, or I go down if I have multiple files open down below. And I just go right-click iProperties. Now this screen will pop up. And what I want to do is I want to go custom, and I want to go ahead and change all of this stuff here. So, of course, the engineer is going to be your personal name. The series is going to be right here. That's the compartment and part. So this is going to be called cover page. And then after that, I'm going to pause it, but you'll notice I put enter, and that all applies after the fact. So after I do that, notice it switches and changes there. Remember, if you have a team name, you got to make sure you put your team name. So I'm just going to say dudes. And when I hit apply, it'll pop up over here. So if you are a part of a team or if you're going solo, put your team name in there. If I want to fix this, I just double click it. Notice it's outlined and then I double click. You can't double click empty space without outlining anything. And then you'll go ahead and type in your stuff here. And notice I just said AO, and now I'm going to say cover page. Notice I'm capitalizing everything too. So take along. I'm going to do this. Fast forward. Voila. So notice everything is typed in here. And remember, if you need reference, you need to make sure that you go back to the lockbox to get all that information. Also, all my stuff is fixed here. Remember, all that information is on my sample here. So just make sure you are aware of everything that needs to be typed in there. All right, back to this. I'm done. I'm going to hit OK. What I want to bring in is my assembled view, which is going to be my IAM file, this photo. Now, remember, from the last video, we changed this cube. So if I rotate this thing and I just hit home, it should look like this. Of course, you're going to have different digits on there, but it should look like that. It should not look like this. It shouldn't look like this. It shouldn't look like that. It should look like that. So if you need help, raise your hand or go back to the video or reach out to another friend. Here we go. Back to my A series. Now what I want to do is I want to put in a base component. And what I'm going to put in, if this does not show up, I need to go find the file. And where I find the file is going to be back into OneDrive and drafting all the way down, but I'm going to go to an assemblies and look for it and say, okay. Now, I'm looking for an isometric view, so I'm going to go ahead and hit home. And then my scale is a 2:1 right here. So I'm going to just type in 2:1. Okay. With that being said, I'm going to move it into position. I'm just by clicking and dragging. I'm going to say okay, but I got to make sure I'm clicked on shaded. If you're not shaded, it's not going to look like that. There it is. Okay, I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm done with AO. Now, you should have done this last week by a quick demonstration I did in class, but now I'm making a video over it in case you are lagging on points. So, I'm done. I'm going to hit File, Save As. That's the first thing I'm doing. And I'm going to call it AO cover page. Now, I already have one in there because I did a demonstration for a kid, but you need to make sure that inside my drawings, okay, we're going to start making a series of all of these stuff here. So there's my AO cover page. I'm going to hit save, go over the top of it. Now it's done. Now what I want to do, because our computers and the way that our tech department has ran, our OneDrive compared to our firewall, Inventor is constantly being saved progressively as you model. And that's why when you see these things, you always see older versions. Now, depending on your computer, it'll save in increments of 15 minutes, an hour, 5 minutes, and you get to set that. But for us, before I move on to A2, I want to then do a file save as. And what I'm going to do, and to make this really short and simple for you guys, is I'm going to type in A-1, and this is called the overview. Now, it still looks like the cover page, but I'm going to delete the stuff that I don't want by selecting it, hitting delete, and now I'm going to change my eye properties, custom. It's not the cover page, it's called overview. And then, of course, this is then going to be called A1. And my scale, it's a 1:1. Oops, sorry. A 1:1. And then I'm sheet number 2. Now, how do I know that? Because I see it here. I'm looking at it. Okay, it looks like this scale is actually messed up. That is not a 2:1. It's supposed to be a 1:2. So I changed it to a 1:1. All right, I'm going to hit close. Now I'm going to go back to base. This is called the overview. So I want to click and drag this into this position, that position, this position, that position, say okay. I'm done. I'm ready to rock and roll. And now remember, I just want to dimension it very simple with 3 dimensions, both length, thickness, and then, of course, customize your own rings for different codes. All right, here we go. Back to this. You guys know how to already do this. Notice I've got to zoom in because I've got to select the lines that I'm trying to be touching. Ooh, I'm a little off because that should be exactly 3 inches. So possibly what happens is when I started moving things around, oh, that's why. I don't have that put back into place. So let's go ahead and let's join it one last time. And let's do a flush, not a flush, but a mate. Now that'll be exactly 3 inches. And if I click on this, notice my gap is all the same. This ring might be, it's not, it's unlocked. So I need to make sure that I unsuppress, I take the suppression back off. So that way it stays locked in place. And if I come over here real quick, watch it change. See how it just changed really quick? You couldn't quite almost even see it, but it did change. And as you guys can see, now I'm 3 inches. And then, of course, remember, I've got to do my other stuff, and I can't remember how this one looked. It looks like the height here, so let's go. Notice lines, not points, right? Let it snap, boom. And now I got to put a leader here, so I'm just going to go ahead and just click on leader. And then I'm going to type in what it says. I can't even remember what it says, to be honest with you. Let's see. Let me see if I can see. Yep, here, I'm looking at a sheet right now as we speak. So here it is. Custom your rings for different code, for different codes. Boom. I'm going to say, okay, there it is. This part's done. I don't want to go any further. I'm just going to hit save. Now I'm only hitting save now because I did a file save as first. Hitting save. I'm going to say okay to it. Now I want to move on to A2, which is the exploded view. So if I come back to here, go down a page, I'm going to make this. Notice I'm going to change all the eye properties. I'm going to import this model. So here we go. Let's go file save as. Remember, what's this called? A2, and now it's called exploded. Oops. Exploded view. Boom, there it is. Now that it's saved, delete, enter, enter. There we go. Bring in now the exploded view. So I hit base. This isn't what I'm looking for. I'm going to come back. That's what I'm looking for. Now, this needs to be brought up to 2 times the scale. Nope, sorry, a 1:1 scale. Now we're set up. So I'm going to say, okay, there it is. Remember, it's got to be shaded. If it's not shaded, you haven't clicked that. Okay, so go back, make sure it's clicked. Remember, we are a scale of 1, and it's the same thing, 1 to 1. Okay, that's why it matches here, 1 to 1. I'm set. Now I want to bring in my leaders because I want to name these parts. So I'm going to come here. I'm just going to select this, draw, click, and I'm going to say this is called the inside holder. Boom, that one's done. Backspace, make sure it's on one single line. This one here is going to be called the rings. Boom. Oh, sorry, I keep hitting enter. And then this last one is called the outside. Boom. Fix my iProperties, come back here, iProperties, custom. This is called what? Exploded view, enter. What page? This is A2 now. What scale? 1 to 1. What sheet number? 3. Okay, I'm total of 7. Team names have not changed. Save. I've fixed it here. I'm good there. This is modeled. I'm going to hit save. Now that model's done, okay? Now, if you are having problems with seeing this photo, there's a couple alternatives, okay? When you come back to here, there's an option right here where you can make multiple different views. And I said this kind of in my last video. You might not have caught it. But if this is not coming in like it should, you need to go back to your IPN file. You need to then hit a new screenshot. So now there's 2 different views. Now, as I kind of manipulate this stuff, you can then change them in this view by double clicking on this and then changing it. But keep in mind, right now we've already brought it in, so we're not going to delete it and then put a new one in there just to change a view that I already like. All right, so we're done. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to say okay. Now my last sheet I want to make is my bill of materials. So before we go any further, I need to go back to my OneNote and I need to save this right here. So I'm going to go File, Save As, and I'm going to put this one with the lockbox. I think I might have already done that. I can't remember. It looks like I did. So remember, it goes in Drawings and it goes there. Okay, we're going to open it up. Let's go back to Inventor. Now, I've already done most of this stuff for you. When we get to watching your next video, you guys will see me open this up, and then you guys will then put in your grams here, because I'm not going to tell you your grams. I'm going to have you do the next video that then puts in those grams, okay? But one thing you need to know is that you need to put in your information. Who are you? So, and then what's your student ID, what's your cell phone number, and what's your email. The reason why I need these forms of contact, because if something is printing and you have this sheet underneath your printer platform and something happens, I need to be able to reach you in at least 3 different ways. So I'm going to shoot you a text first. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to shoot you a message in Teams first. I'll shoot you an email, and then I'll text you. So those 3 forms of communication will then get you here. And if I can't hear from you, I'll just cancel your print and then put you in the trash pile. And then you will come to school the next day and be like, what happened to my print? And then you'll see that it's in the trash pile. And you're like, oh, what happened? And then I'll say, you should probably read your text messages. Okay, back to this. This is done, okay? What I want to do now is I want to do a File, Save As, and make my next one, which is going to be A3, the bill of materials. So let's go File, Save As. Here it is. What am I going to name it? A3 dash, or not dash, I'm sorry, BOM, abbreviated for bill of materials. So I'm going to say, okay, there it is. Now I got to make sure that I then delete this because we changed it. I need to then fix my iProperties. So remember, this is called the BOMs. I am A3 now. This is sheet 4 now. And my scale is NA because we're going to bring in an Excel. So here we go. There's this, there's that. This is all set up. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to go to Tools. Okay, wait, maybe it's not Tools, maybe it's Manage. Yeah, it's Manage. And I want to insert an object. So I'm going to click this. this screen will pull up. Oop, actually, sorry, wrong one. Bear with me. Sorry, yeah, we are correct. You do hit insert object. So under manage, insert object. And now what we're going to look for is from a file, and then we're going to hit browse because I want to go back to my lockbox, my drawing, and I want to look for the saved file of the bill of materials. So I'm going to open it, and I'm just going to hit OK. And it's going to outline in this shape here. You're just going to put it somewhere kind of semi in the middle, zoom out, and just click and drag this thing to where it shrinks within the window. Now, I like to have this kind of in the semi-center. Now I'm done. So I'm going to hit save. So I have done all my A series, both AO, A1, A2, and A3. So that looks good. So let's pull it up. Let's make sure our drawings look good. Drawings. So we don't need A series anymore. We got AO, 1, 2, 3. Those are done. My B series. I'm just going to quickly show you kind of what I'm looking for when you bring these in. Not only do you have to change your, and you guys have already done this, so I've already given my demonstration, and you guys kind of already know, but remember what I'm looking for, and that is them to be modeled just like you see. So I guess I don't really need to go over that, but you guys have now just watched the video on AB series blueprints and how to make them. So let's go ahead and open up AO, which is going to be our cover page. So last week you turned in this. This is all I wanted. Now this week you're going to have a completed drawings of this. So the second half of this video is going to be going over how to fix these the easiest way. So what I need you to do is I need to open up this assembly again. Now what I want to do now is I want to go back to a file folder and I want to go to my drawings. I'm sorry, my parts. And I want to make multiple rings. So what I do is I hit control and I'm just going to hit V, control V, and I'm going to make 5 of these. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now what I'm going to go ahead and name these is I'm just going to name them ring 2. And this one's ring 1. So I'm going to pause the video here. That way you don't have to sit here and watch me do all this. So I've just changed the name of all these. So it's going to be ring 1, okay? And then of course, you're going to have your name under behind it. And this is going to be personally your name because now you're taking everyone's ring, whoever made it, you're going to take over and take control. So actually, let's just have it as ring 1, ring 2, and so on and so on. What I want to do now is I want to turn around and go back to here. Now, we've changed the name of this ring template. So what I want to do is I want to hit save, okay? I'm going to close out of this. I'm going to go back to my presentation mode. I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to close out of this one. Now, just like I showed you guys before, okay, Inventor's intuitive enough where it's going to think to yourself, what the heck happened to this part because the name has changed. So we have to manually tell it what this new part is. So I'm going to come back to here into my assembly. I'm going to open it back up. Okay, maybe it didn't, but it should have. Oh, wait, I think I opened the wrong one. Sorry, you got to remember sometimes I'm in. No, I didn't. Huh. Let's go here. Let's go there. Let's just double check. Yeah, I've changed the names in all of them. Let's go back to assemblies. Interesting. Oh, you know why? I've made multiple videos. Okay. And if I go to iProperties, no, look at that. Huh. It has come from, it did come from drafting. That's weird. Well, either way, I need to delete these. Okay. So I'm going to delete all these. And what I want to do now is I want to bring them back in one at a time. Because remember, I need to change the stuff to them. So let's go back to ring one. So let's delete this one. Okay, let's bring in ring one. Okay, remember we are in OneDrive into drafting. So there's my ring one. I'm just going to click it here, and just like I did before, we're going to mount it, or not mount it, I'm sorry. We're going to attach it the way we want. Now I hit G. If I hit G, you can shift it any way you want. Okay, and now we're going to join it. I'm going to choose this surface. Remember, I'm choosing this surface, and I'm letting it snap to the middle. Notice there's a difference between this edge and that radius edge. I want to make sure I choose the actual flat edge. There it is. Here's this. We're going to change it to cylinder. I'm going to say OK to it. Now this thing's rotating, but I want it to only rotate, okay, with a flush, meaning this face with that face. And now it's going to slide down this thing back and forth. But remember, if we open this up, like it, if it'll let me, I'll just double click on it. I can come back and I can bring this plane back to view by right clicking now. Notice what I just did there is I opened this up versus going and finding the file for the inside holder. So it makes it nice when you can do that. But remember, I got to choose the right plane. So I'm looking at my inside holder. I'm looking down. I'm looking for all the planes that I made. This is the plane that I want. So I'm going to right click it and bring back the visibility. And now what I'm going to do is return. I'm going to do the exact same thing for this. There needs to be a plane there, in which we already did in our old videos. So I'm going to open it back up. I'm going to scroll down, and it looks like there isn't a plane there. So we need to make a plane. So I'm going to do offset plane. There. I'm going to return. Now there's two planes. Let's mate it now. I'm going to go, hey, this needs to go with that. And now I hit apply. Now remember, those are locked in place. We're good to go. So this video is quickly going to go over, the second part of this video is going to quickly how I easily put on different codes, because you got to have a different code. By the end of the week, you guys are going to have a different combination. So when I have your printed model in front of me, like I have mine somewhere around here, when I have mine, you guys are going to show me this blueprint of AO, your entire set of A and B series, and your printed model, and I'll be able to put in your code and then open up your box. So we're back to here. I'm going to open up the actual ring one. And inside ring one, I'm going to get rid of the visibility because I don't need to see it anymore. And why is that? Because I've already made my constraint. So let's get rid of the visibility. Okay. But I do want to now add in my text for every single one of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this constraint. Okay. What I want to do now is I want to then open up this sketch. I want to select it all and right click and hit copy. I want to finish the sketch. And now the easiest way to do this is just move on to the next one. I'm going to right click this. I'm going to go new sketch. And I got to project the geometry of this new sketch by noticing it's outlining the shape that I'm trying to draw on. Then I right click and I hit paste. Now it's a little off, but that's okay because you're just going to click and drag it into position. And then what I want to do is I want to vertically constrain it and horizontally constrain it. Make sure we got to take off these little pins they have here, because those pins are actually our alignments. So here we are. Now we're back to normal. What I want to do now is I want to vertically constrain it. Oh, you dirty dog. Here we go. Vertically constrain. I want to say this point, which is that outline line. Hit escape, select it. I want to go, this point is locking in with that point. And then I want to say this horizontal line right here is going to be on this plane right here. And then all I do is double click on this, I highlight it, and I change it to another digit. Very simple. And I say okay. And then of course, we extrude it. And remember, this is only a 1/16 of an inch. After you're done, you say okay to it. And then, of course, change then the extrusion to a different color. I'll choose red. And now when I come back to my lockbox, okay, you'll see it there. And then when I come back to my cover page, you'll see it there. Okay, I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to go ahead and put on all these other codes so that way you guys understand and you see it. And by the end of the video, you guys will also see the combination changed here and changed everywhere else. All right, guys, so real quick, I've already gone ahead and changed all my letters, and I brought in all my different letters here so you guys can see. When I come back into my ring 2, now remember, I've opened these individual parts. I'm going to unsuppress all this so that way you guys can see it. That way when it comes in as our lockbox, you can kind of see them getting rearranged. So let's go back to this. I'm going to suppress this one more time just so you can see what I see. That way it doesn't confuse us. Here we are. Let's lock these, and then I'm going to show you real quick on what I need to do then. Okay, well, now my combination's set. Of course, I needed to put numbers on all of this, but for this sake, I'm not going to do it for this video. I'm just going to show you that you have to put them all the way around every single ring, but the combination has got to be different. So with that being said, this is done. What I'm going to do is open up my cover page, and you'll notice that they change here. So by the end of this week, you will have this thing printed, not only as a physical copy, but also as an A and B copy series of blueprints. And I will be able to look at this code, see this model, put it in, and voila, I'm good to go. So congratulations, you just watched how to do this. Of course, if you need help aligning these, call me back over or go back and watch my videos or reach out to a friend in the class. Sorry for making this video so long. I'm not very good at, keeping it structured and trying to be as fast and as efficient as I possibly can because this is a new project. So we're kind of figuring it out as we go. Hope you like it. Hope you enjoy it. Next video, you're going to see me kind of put it all together and how to make the ABC, or not put it all together, but how to export these all as PDFs. And you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm just going to show you how to do that. So, File, Export, PDF. Drawing, don't change the name, hit Save. It'll then pop up as a PDF. You will then turn around and wait for it to load. Open up your File Explorer, go back to your drawings, and you will see a PDF. And here's what it'll look like. And then, of course, do that for every single drawing, okay? Both all of A and all of B. And do we need B anymore? No, we do not. So when I look at this File Explorer, I should see both a IDW file and a PDF for every single one of those. Hope this helped. Sorry for kind of, bouncing around. Thanks, guys.